So today's episode is very personal. This is the moment that I stopped treating my gifts like a hobby and started treating them like the foundation of my next chapter. And if you're a woman who is over the age of 40, you're juggling a career, you're caregiving, experiencing identity shifts, going through money pressure, and you just feel that nagging thought in your mind that you're built for something bigger, you're probably going to hear pieces of yourself in the story. Because here's what I know about women like us. We are multi hyphenates, right? We don't get the luxury of being one thing. And honestly, we don't want to be, but we've been taught that our complexity is a problem to solve, that we need to simplify, streamline, pick a lane. But here's the thing. What if the lane is the integration of all those identities? What if your second act self isn't about subtraction? What if it's about alignment? My work lives at the intersection of identity, income, and reinvention. And today I'm letting you into the moment where those three collided and changed everything for me. But before we get into it, let me introduce myself. Hey, friend. My name is Quinn, and I'm on a mission to help women in midlife create more freedom, ownership, and opportunity for themselves by turning their existing experience into new income streams. So, before I tell you what happened, let me tell you why it mattered. So, women in midlife aren't just one thing. We are multi hyphenates by necessity and design. We don't get to be one thing. We are professional and caregiving. We are leaders and support system. We are visionaries and implementers. But the world tells us to pick a lane. But sis, we were never built for just one lane. We live in a constant state of growing careers while holding our families together, wanting freedom while carrying responsibility, craving reinvention while fearing instability, and being brilliant while feeling undervalued. And we carry all of that quietly. So when we have a talent, a skill, a spark, we don't always feel allowed to take it seriously. We tell ourselves, I'm too busy. I should be grateful. It's just something I do. No one will pay for that. Listen, I know those words because I said those words. For 20 plus years, I worked in corporate communications while quietly building income streams on the side. I did consulting, events, coaching, but every time someone asked what I did, I downplayed it. Oh, that's just a little something I do. It's no big deal. It's just a hobby. But here's the truth that I was not ready to face. I had frameworks, I had systems, I had transformation, I had expertise, and you know what else? I had receipts. I just didn't have the belief. Here I was teaching women how to navigate transitions using my frameworks. But here's what made my approach different. I don't teach reinvention as starting over, I teach it as integration. So there's a mindset piece. I call this the transition triad. So, as part of this framework, there's a mindset piece that is all about helping women unlearn the belief that ambition has to pick a lane. So, I always tell people that being multi hyphenate is not in conflict with each other. It's about your capacity to do it. Then the second piece of the transition triad is the messaging piece, where I'm teaching women how to tell a story that reflects who they're becoming, not just who they've been, which is typically what you see on a resume. And I do this because the right words will create new opportunities that hard work alone really can't do. Then the final piece of the triad is, of course, monetization, where I'm helping them map out their skills and turn them into income streams that honor the season that they're in, not competes with it, not makes them feel like they're about to burn out. It gives them options, not overwhelm. So like I said, I have built the framework. I just wasn't fully claiming it for myself yet. And I know what you're thinking. That is some wild business right there. But that's midlife. Your value is at its highest, but your confidence is probably at its lowest. Now, the shift for me didn't come from something like a conference. It didn't come from a book. There was no dramatic breakdowns for me, but it came from something as simple as an email. One woman who wrote to me and she said, that thing that you helped me with, it changed everything. And you should charge for this. I would have paid you money. And I thought, huh, that really hit different because I hadn't thought of it in that way yet. But because the skill that she was talking about, the clarity that I gave her, the messaging I helped her refine, that was something that I did effortlessly. I did it through instinct, and I had been doing it for years. It wasn't a hobby, it was impact. It was transformation. It was part of my second act self, the version of me that integrates everything that I've learned with who I'm becoming. And that day, for the first time, I said the quiet part out loud. I am allowed to take this seriously. And that's exactly what I did. So a few things hit me at once. It was the realization that I am a multi hyphenate, and that is my strength. That is not something that splits me apart. I didn't have to choose between corporate Quinn and entrepreneur Quinn, between the professional and the visionary, between the caregiver and the CEO. All of those versions can coexist. And here's the kicker, they can amplify each other. My lived experience had value. It was at that time that I understood that my lived experience had value. It wasn't just about the job titles, but it was about the transformation that I was able to create. I was tired of living an existence where my purpose came in second to everything else. And women were already being changed by my work, and I was the only one still treating it like a hobby. So midlife wasn't limiting me. I feel like midlife was revealing me. So in that moment, I realized that if I keep shrinking, the women who were following me, the women who were watching me, the women who were relying on me, they were going to do the same thing too. I was the model. And so if I was going to be the model, if I was going to be the mentor, I needed to show up and, you know, shrinking and staying in the background. That was not the legacy that I was trying to build. If you are watching this video, I want you to know something very important. You are not confused. You have been conditioned to believe by society that your brilliance is just regular, conditioned to believe that you shouldn't want more at this age, conditioned to believe that you have to choose between your roles and your dreams. But here is what I know to be true without a doubt. You can merge your professional experience, your personal evolution, and your income goals into one aligned identity. And I kind of call this your second act self. And that's the lane that I live in. That's the lens that I see things through. Because I understand transitions deeply, career shifts, layoffs, caregiving, identity changes. And it's not because it's theory, but it's because I've walked through all of this and I've been able to build my business while doing so, raising my daughter with special needs, and then also redefining like what success really means for me in midlife. My work is built for women who are ambitious and exhausted, brilliant and underrecognized, highly skilled and still questioning whether they're allowed to want more. I help women see themselves clearly so they can move with confidence, claim their value, and build lives where their personal and professional selves are no longer in competition with each other. They coexist, they amplify, and they thrive. So if you're someone who's been feeling that tug, that voice that says in the back of your head, I know that I am meant for more. This is your moment. You don't need another degree. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need clarity. And it starts with a skills audit. Click the link in the description because you can download this and it's going to show you exactly which skills you can turn into income without abandoning the life you built or the responsibilities that you carry. I'm building this in public so you can see that it's possible, not because I'm special in any way, but because I'm trying to be as intentional as I possibly can. And I want you to know that you can do the exact same thing. Your next chapter is not waiting on confidence, it is waiting on clarity, and clarity starts right now. If you found this video helpful, please like it, share it, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss what's coming next. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.